Hi guys. Good to see you. Okay, so okay, I've been struggling with a bit of depression, and I wasn't gonna say it, but it's I think it's harmful to act like um to fake it till you make it. Like it's the most bullshit advice I think I've ever heard. It works sometimes, okay, it works sometimes, but most of the time, God, like we need to give ourselves permission to feel our feelings, to just be uh, what we feel like. I think there's so much pressure in the world to always be all right, to always act all right, to always be on top of your game, and even if you're not, to at least portray that you're trying your best to be. And like, let's just let people be what they're feeling. Anyway, so I've been struggling with that. I did do the reading yesterday, the May Tarot Challenge. I didn't upload, so I wasn't happy with the video, and I didn't want to make another one because I'd already drawn the cards and all that. And it was pretty personal. The reading ended up being pretty personal. And anyway, so I looked forward at, but I want to stick with this. The whole reading a day for a month. The Tarot Challenge, but I looked at the Tarot Challenge questions coming up, and I wasn't super excited about them. Like, some of them were even like, there were a couple that were asked twice in the Tarot, and I didn't look ahead to see. Um, so it's not very inspiring to me anymore. It's become a little bit mundane, kind of repetitive questions, just asked in different ways. So I'm still gonna try to, do my 31 days and at least ask some question, whether I get the inspiration from myself or a different challenge or wherever I get it. I'll just do what I want, but do a reading a day, and that way I'm still kind of doing the challenge. I'm happy with that. So today I'm gonna ask my thought here. How am I gonna word it? Something, I need confidence. Confidence has been lacking. Like, I've got a couple ideas I want to pursue, but the confidence to put those into action and carry them out is, well, it's difficult to find. So, see what the thought has to say about, what do we want to say? Where can I find my confidence? How do I find my confidence? I feel like I need the question to be clear. We'll start with how. Let's say how. How can I find my confidence? I am feeling that card. Completion, yes. Four of Wands. Stability in the realms of ambitions, pursuits, which is exactly what I'm talking about. I have these ideas that I want to put into action, but I lack the confidence to do so. So it's definitely a Wands, feeling. How do I move forward? How do I pursue this passion? How do I get it out of me? And the Four of Wands, see, that's Venus in Aries. Doesn't mean a lot to me right now. But Four of Wands, I think that's telling me maybe to maybe stick to one idea, because I have a few different ideas floating around in my head. So throughout the day, I'm flittering between this idea, that idea, the other idea, and like how I'm gonna go about accomplishing these things instead of just focusing on one. And since four is, the number of stability, I feel like it's telling me I need to be stable in one of these, meaning like I need to focus on one sole objective. because I get overwhelmed when I focus on too many. I am going to read up on it just to see what else. Lon Milo Duquette has to say. Four of Wands. Okay. Well, it doesn't say much. It's a total departure from the Golden Dawn model. However, Harris creates a rotating wheel by transforming 4 wands into 8 spokes of the Wheel of Completion. There's a little bit of a Wheel of Fortune feel there too, isn't there? Each wand is balanced and perfectly complemented with the Dove of Venus and the Ram of Mars-ruled Aries. So that's what those are. You got the Venuses and the Rams for Venus and Aries. Right? Crowley points out, Venus in Aries, Crowley points out, indicates that one cannot establish one's work without tact and gentleness. So that's interesting. Let's highlight it. Indicates that one cannot establish one's work without tact and gentleness because Venus is in Aries. Harris ignores the deep violet of Chesed and focuses upon the greens and reds of this planet and sign. The 4s represent the first solid manifestation of their suits. So, I think this is where things get a little bit more tangible, more, more focused, more solid. Is also in the 4s. If you look at the Tree of Life, like he's saying, the 4th sphere is where things come together. It's the first one kind of in the material plane, the plane of Earth, And so where can I find my confidence? In doing, in focusing on one of these areas and just getting something done. Instead of spending so much, and I've seen that a lot lately in cards, is instead of staying in my head, this is what yesterday's was all about, I won't go into it. I got 3 swords yesterday. So you see why it was a bit personal, a bit overwhelming, and I wasn't happy with the video, and I was just like, no, this one stays with me. Yeah, so this is about less thought and more action. Do I want to pull one more card? That was how. Some more. How do I gain? Okay. Maybe where can I find the inspiration? I think I've done that lately, but I'm gonna go with where can I find inspiration, because I think I need to see that right now. Okay. 2 of Pentacles. Change. Interesting that it's change in the Thoth, and I really don't know why it's change. We have Jupiter and Capricorn. Jupiter, I don't know why. Jupiter is like the fun planet. And I don't know why I think that, if it's what I've read or what I've been feeling in my, from the tidbits I've picked up. But it's like the fun, all is fun and games, all is left to fate, the kind of the roller coaster planet. I could be totally wrong. In fact, why not? Like, look, I've almost opened it. There's Neptune. Pluto, where are you, Jupiter? Right there. Jupiter is the first of the really distant planets, and it spins far more quickly than the Earth. It consists of, who cares, right now. The sign that Jupiter was in at birth will throw considerable light on a person's beliefs and value system. This also determines how adventurous the person is and the way he attempts to expand his horizons. Jupiter in some signs inclines the person to be a gambler or risk taker, and in others to breathe life into what otherwise might be a dull personality. So we are saying, that's why I get this feeling. The more like gambler, risk taker, fun. It has a carnival feel to me. I don't know why. Jupiter is a wonderful indicator of where and how a person is likely to find luck. So there we are again. So it is kind of the luck, the fate, the exciting, the adventurous, and then we have that coming down to Capricorn, which is very earthy sign. Let's read up on Capricorn. Capricorn. Yeah, I know it's an earth sign. It's feminine. But you know, it's practicality, common sense, and attention to details. It's also a cardinal sign, which means these people can't be pushed around. And that's not helpful right now. So let's talk about what Capricorns are, but the sign itself is, you know, it refers to, you know, these people use common sense, they're practical, they're grounded, they're attentive, they're meticulous, they're very grounded to the earth. So that does denote change, and we'll read about that in a second. But the fact that Jupiter, this, you know, planet of wonder and fascination and, you know, all fun and games, is now having to come to Earth. It's being tethered to the Earth. And that's a big change for Jupiter. So that's a good thing. And I think that's why this card, there's nothing negative here, because I think Jupiter is rather fanciful. You know, it can be rather off in its own little world. And so it needs Capricorn, or it's a good thing right here for Capricorn to be grounding it a little bit more. Let's see if I'm in any way close to anything that he has to say about it. Makes sense to me, and that's all that matters, right? Pentacles. Pentacles. There it is. Discs. Discs involved. Even though Jupiter and Capricorn are not usually happy with each other, they wouldn't be. This high up on the tree of life, their differences are more or less forgiven. Crowley calls this card the picture of the complete manifested universe in respect of its dynamics. Like the two of the other suits, this card, not the ace, represents the first manifestation of its element. Discs being earth, and as we recall, earth being the throne of spirit. Yeah, so not only do we have obviously Capricorn as earth, we have the suit as well. The pentacles, the discs themselves are earth. So this should be a very grounding card. Discs being earth, and as we recall, earth being the throne of spirit, we have in a very real sense completed a great cosmic circuit. Having got to the bottom, Crowley explains, what immediately comes out again at the top. Hence the card manifests a symbolism of the serpent of the endless band. Crowley sings in his, is it Liber? I'm probably Liber. Then I beheld myself compassed about with the infinite circle of emerald that encloseth the universe. As if to suggest the nuclei of the first dividing cells of what will soon be the material universe, two yin-yangs whirl in the center of the two coils of the serpent. The top rotates to the left and contains within itself the symbols of fire and water. The bottom one rotates to the right and contains within itself the symbols of air and earth. Where? Where do we see these symbols? Are they telling me it's supposed to really be here? Two yin-yangs were in the center of the two coils. Oh, yeah, in the yin-yangs. Wow, I never would have noticed that. Not if I... Look at me. I'm looking like in the snake's coils. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's probably not going to focus. My phone is terrible at focusing. No, not at all. Yeah, but you can see the two dots. Maybe a little bit more there. Those two dots, so four altogether in the middle of the yin-yangs, contain the four elements. That's nice. That's interesting. So everything is in balance. Harris tells Crowley that she paid particular attention to the colors. Okay, so then she talks about... Now, I fail to see, to be honest. This is much more like an intuitive feeling, I suppose, because there's no mention in here of why it really means change. I explained it the best I could, what my intuitive feeling was. I'm interested to know what you guys think. Why would this be changed? To me, it does feel more about balance, practicality, right? Balancing things so that there's an order about them, you know, so that it's more grounded. But change does make sense because Jupiter is, you know, being forced to level itself out to remain grounded. Okay, so we've kind of figured out the card. And so we have, we'll get back to my ground here. The Four of Wands, representing the need to manifest, the need to be doing, the need for solid. You know, this is the first manifestation, the twos. But this is the first, like, earthly manifestation, I'm going to say, if I have that right. So, what question did I ask of this card specifically? This was what can I look towards? What can inspire me? So what can I look to for inspiration? I mean, I definitely need to be more grounded with my thoughts, that's for sure, but that's not super inspirational. Mm. I'm getting the feeling that I'm supposed to be working with all of my surroundings, and that makes sense to me based on what I've been wanting to do, but not paying attention to only because I'm so in my head, right? I need to focus more on the physical. What am I touching? How does it feel? What am I hearing? What does it feel like to hear that? What kind of information is that putting into my mind? You know, what do I see? How do I perceive that? So I'm feeling that in order to get these things out, to feel more grounded in this area, I have to get out of my head, obviously. Jupiter, out of the clouds, down on the ground. And in order to do that, I just pay more attention to what is going on around me. Find inspiration, not within my own head, but from the outside world, from the things I can see and hear, feel, smell, taste, all of my five senses. And since we don't really see the spirit, which is more like, spirit to me is more in tune with the universal unconscious, right? It's more in tune with my intuition and my feelings and the divine. I don't see the spirit too much in this this card. We just have the four elements, which says to me that needs to be left out, which is exactly what I have been talking about, is focus on the elements, focus on the real world, rather than focusing on what's going on in my mind. I think I'm just being repetitive at this point, but I think we get it, and that's not a terrible reading. Somebody did comment and said, you know, I feel like I'm learning the Thoth with you. The Thoth. See, I haven't even nailed down how I'm saying it, but Thoth is how I think I'm going to refer to it and what I try to say. And yeah, you're learning right along with me, and I appreciate you watching these, guys, and being patient with me as I go through the books and the meetings and figure out for myself what these cards are saying. I think they can be super, super intuitive, especially the minors, because you find both in the Thoth, Crowley's Thoth, and in understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth, that there's not a whole lot of attention paid to the minors, just enough to give you a general feeling. But in a lot of them, there's no real explanation for the idea given that he gives down here. So you're kind of left to decide why you think it means that word, or to get rid of that word altogether and say, what is this card saying to me? So yeah, this was about change, a change in perception, a change in where I should find inspiration, not by thinking in my own head, but by feeling and looking around me. So it does mean that change, but it also means, I found that it meant a lot more to me after looking at it intuitively. So, whatever. Thanks, guys. Bye.